Well, welcome everyone to this presentation. I am Celeste of Astrology by Celeste. If you are new to me, let me share. I always like to do a presentation. It helps me stay on track, and I think visuals. Oh, there's my email for everyone. We're already off to the races. Today is a Mercury-Mars conjunction. So there could be like little technical issues going on. So hopefully we'll be okay with the technical stuff. So the name of this presentation is called Navigate 2026 in Sync with the Moon. And I'm calling it the Great Reimagining. I mean, we're all, if you're conscious, you know that we are in a time of immense change. And I felt called to have this presentation. So this is just about me. If you're new to me, I'm a Taurus sun. So I like to make things practical, to give you something tangible. It's a fixed earth sign that helps you with a stable foundation. I'm an Aries moon, so I always like to kind of push people to take some chances, calculated risks, be inspired, have fun while you're doing it, and be a little playful. And I'm a Cancer rising, so my approach is consultative. And I love, love, love the moon. Learning about my moon sign like blew open the doors on my mind and helped me understand so much about myself, because our sun sign represents our conscious mind and our moon, our subconscious mind. And when you bring them together, it can be life-changing. Okay. Yeah, I spent a long time in corporate, so I have my little presentation and everything. And I sometimes use a little corporate speak, but that's just who I am. Yeah. So I love this quote from Marilyn Monroe, and this is the way I'm going into this time, that holding the light. Sometimes good things fall apart so better things can fall together. Marilyn Monroe said that. I think that's amazing. She was so, known for her beauty, but she was someone who had a horrendous beginning to life and difficult end, but she was inspiring in many ways to people. Anyway. A very talented actress. Okay, so my goal in having this session is to help you orient yourself in 2026. So many people are feeling adrift, and it makes sense with the energy. And this is not a session to predict every outcome or force certainty when there's no certainty to be had. I mean, we can see the archetypal signatures and forecast what may be coming up, but there's no certainty. We have free will. There's things we can think we're going left, and all of a sudden we're going right. But I want to help you understand the larger patterns of the year, why things may be disoriented, and how to work with the timing as best as we can rather than against it. So I'm going to talk about the big picture, talking about the moon, a deep let go, karmic page turners, cosmic support. I love my cute little titles. That's my Aries moon. And then I will do hot take chart readings. I'll do as many as I can in the time allowed. But the big picture. We are in a time of massive change, and we are in a tower moment. Saturn and Neptune. Saturn is structures, Neptune dissolves them. They're coming together on February 20th, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But they've been really close since the beginning of last year. And we're seeing it. We're seeing chaos, upheavals, things suddenly dissolve. But it's really important to, despite this, in the tarot, after the tower, comes the Star card. And we need to remember to have hope and faith, because after things come down, there is renewal and new starts. So I did with Sarah El-Harar, Astro Auntie, who's an amazing astrologer, Tiffany Herlick of Wise Skies. She's an amazing astrologer as well. Every year we do the three of us, our trifecta, does a forecast for the year where we really get into more of the predictions as well as the astrology. You can go to my website. It's in my shop if you want to get the recording of that. But and if Suzanne, if you can go over to astrologybyceleste.com, the shop, it's at the top, and just drop the link in case anyone wants to get that. But Sarah put together this slide about the great potential of the time we're in now. And I think we need to remember this as we move through. Is this famous astrologer, Andre Barbeau. He predicted World War II and the COVID-19 pandemic. He's long gone, but he talked about this time now, and this Saturn-Neptune conjunction of 2026 has the potential to be the most benefic configuration of the century, and offers us the opportunity for a relaunch of civilization. So that's the star of this. After the tower comes down, the potential for renewal. So human beings may surpass themselves while experiencing life on a higher level. So keep this in mind as we move through. This is one of the lights I'm holding on to. And in case you're not familiar with Saturn, Neptune, and they're meeting at 0 degrees of Aries. So I just wanted to give you some key words to keep in mind as you're going through the year. You know, Saturn is the planet of authority and responsibility. It rules structures, institutions of all kinds. It has limits and boundaries. Saturn constricts, Jupiter expands. These are two principles. They are the social planets, but right now Saturn is very in focus. And what it does is it controls. It also delays. It disciplines, rejects, and excludes. Like in the United States, one of the biggest stories is about immigration, and you know what's going on. We don't need to get into all that, but it also clarifies and teaches. Saturn has the image of Saturn you can think of is like a concrete wall. It's a boundary. It feels very. There's a heaviness to Saturn. The bones, the teeth, and the skin are ruled by Saturn, and this is important because the South Node is in Virgo, and a lot of people are experiencing, based on your charts and things, like health problems surfacing. So if anything comes up related to your skin, your bones, or your teeth, it's best to, if you can, get it dealt with as quickly as possible. Now, Neptune is Saturn and Neptune feel very much like almost like opposites, because Saturn is the seen, Neptune is the unseen. Saturn's the planet, the farthest planet we can see with our visible eye, so it feels like the limit. Well, Neptune's past that. And so it rules our imagination and vision. Film is very Neptunian. Dreams and spiritual meaning. It's a planet of illusions, confusion, and delusions. What Neptune does is it dissolves, it sensitizes, it idealizes and glamorizes. It also weakens. When you have a Saturn and Neptune transit, like when Saturn comes to your Neptune in the sky, or Neptune comes to your Saturn, or they're squaring or opposing, this can be a time where people have an illness, or there's something going on where you feel your structures are weakened. So it's just something good to be aware of. And we as a collective are experiencing this as they move to meet at 0 degrees of Aries, the first sign, the first degree of the zodiac. If you want an image, fog is very Neptunian. It blurs things. And propaganda, where you're being given a snow job, is very Neptunian. And it rules the immune system and the lymphatic system. So whatever you can do, and I know I need to do this better myself, to support your immune system, whether it's getting enough sleep, taking your vitamins, or whatever tools you use, this is so important right now. If you haven't been paying attention, there's a really bad flu season. So many people are getting sick, and it's like taking them a couple of weeks to get well. So whether you wear a mask, whether you to get rest, exercise, good food, whatever you can do, try to keep doing it as we move to this conjunction on February 20th. And Aries, now there's excitement with Aries. It's new beginnings. There are going to be people who are making their dreams come true. Neptune is the dream. Saturn makes it a reality. It crystallizes things. There's like an opportunity for courage and confidence. The fortune favors the bold. What do you want to initiate? How can you be more independent? People are going to be making, in a time of newness, just making their own ways. The pioneer is an image of Aries as well. So Aries resets, confronts, pioneers, leads, it takes risks. Now it also fights. There's an amplification of conflict. You can think about the spark of the match. Really pay attention when you see things about the head, brain, or eyes, or anything, especially illnesses that are going around, because just pay attention and see what you can do to keep yourself healthy. But this is the big picture that we're dealing with. Now, what's happening is we're having the dissolution of old structures, where there's a collapse and erosion, and it's accelerated. We know these tariff wars and all of this stuff. There's a lot of loss of faith in institutions, leaders, or ideologies. It's an end of an era that can no longer sustain itself. We are not going back to the past. We're going forward into a new world where we don't know exactly where we're going to land. And the old rules don't apply. So there's the opportunity for new beginnings. But how can we begin without certainty and learn through action? And at times, you make a mistake, you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off and keep going. We need to rebuild our identity in some ways. I mean, as an American, things are happening that it's mind-blowing that I would never, like, the image of America is as a person who was born here, is like the myth is kind of going away and the reality is being exposed. This transit is landing at the IC, the foundation of the country. So this is a big deal for all of us. And there's a deep let go happening where your what you thought is confronted by what is reality. So there's an opportunity to turn vision into reality through taking courageous steps, going forward despite all the chaos around ourselves. How can we put blinders on at times? You need to be engaged in your community if that's what you're called to do, but you also, how can you take care of your nervous system, yourself, and what have you? What dream can you move to with courage? Taking the dream, making it real with courage. I'm going to pause. Is there anything in the chat, Suzanne, that you want to read off?
No, everybody's just chatting about their big three.
Okay, wonderful. So now we're going to get into talking about the moons. And just to make sure everyone understands the moon cycles, I want to just give some thoughts. The beauty of the moon cycles, and I'm a moon girl, and I love working with the moon. I used the moon cycles to retire early from my corporate career and launch my career as an astrologer by looking at this humongous thing I wanted to do and breaking it into bite-sized pieces to make it more manageable. So that's the beauty of the moon cycles. And they also connect our inner experience and our outer experience. As I mentioned, the sun is our conscious mind, the moon is our subconscious mind. Every 29 days, approximately, they come together. And I love the imagery. I think it was Bronwyn Simmons, a wonderful astrologer, who first gave me the visual of them, the sun and the moon, whispering secrets to each other about what they want to grow in our lives. And it's something different every month as they move through the different signs. And it's symbolic of growth and decay. One of the things, like I was in sales and marketing in my career, and it's like every year it's just like more. This is the part of the corporate mentality, but that's not how life works. There's a season, a time for everything. There's that biblical passage. I don't know if it's Ecclesiastes. I can't remember what it is, but there's a time, a time to be born, a time to die, all of that. That's how life really works. And the moon cycles, where there's a new moon, and then the moon pulls away from the sun and the light starts growing and our energy increases. And then the culmination of the cycle is when the sun and the moon are opposite each other and it's the brightest, things are illuminated. And then there's the waning cycle where the moon's light starts going away. And there's these themes of psychological integration and letting go before there's a new birth in the next sign, typically. So that is more in line with life. We're not supposed to be just going. We're supposed to grow. The growth and decay. Growth and decay is more of a natural cycle. And the sun emits the light, and the moon reflects the light back. So this is how our conscious mind and our unconscious mind can collaborate and take action and manifest what we want, whether you want to change your job, whether you want to improve your health, whether you want to improve your relationships, whether you want to just have more peace, whether you just want to witness, whatever. These cycles can help you be more present in daily life. And the zodiac is this beautiful opportunity to experience the archetypal signatures of every sign. The 12 signs encompass all of life. And not every new moon or full moon is as important for us as individuals, but when one of them is in hard aspect, meaning conjunct at the same degree approximately, opposite or square, that 90-degree square of especially a natal planet or an angle, meaning our ascendant, descendant, midheaven, or IC, or one of our lunar nodes within especially 2 degrees, it excites our chart. And if you have like a chart planet pattern, like a T-square or something like that, or a trine or whatever, it'll excite that pattern in your chart. And this is when things pop into our lives.
I have a question now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to interrupt you or save
Yes.
it? Okay. Priscilla asks, can you explain the progressed moon and how do we use it? Should we use it?
I'm going to stick with the progressed moon. The progressed moon, if there's like a new moon on your progressed moon, that can be meaningful. Yes, it can. But I don't want to get too far astray with other things. But yeah, the progressed moon is, so you're born with your natal moon. And the progressed moon speaks to where you are based on your own chart and your age. And it talks about what you're emotionally dealing with and can bring things to light. but I want to stay focused, so that I'll leave it there. But yes, if there's a new moon or something on your progressed moon, that can be important. Great question. Okay. So what are the phases of the moon? Now, there are 8 phases. Each phase lasts approximately 2.5 days. But I found that working with all 8 is a lot. So to make things more practical, I recommend working, and you can work with all 8, and they're represented here. But I work with the main hard aspects that happen every 7 days, because a week feels very natural in the rhythm of our lives with the way we use the calendar. So there's the new moon, where seeds are planted in the dark. It's a quiet phase. Stories begin. The sun and the moon act together. So there's beginnings, stimulation, renewal are words for the new moon. It's a beautiful time to set intentions about what you want to grow in your life. I recommend setting 2 to 3 intentions every month, something you can do quickly related to the sign and what house it's in your chart. Something maybe if you have big goals related to the big goal that you can do, that's going to take time. A week later, approximately, there'll be a first quarter moon where the sun and the moon are in square. Squares are tension. It's called a crisis of action. And when you look in the sky, it looks like the moon has a hard edge. It's a half moon. And so at this time, this is a time where stories in our life become visible. We start to see the light, problems surface. And I have noticed, if I keep getting like a little nagging thought of, I'm a sun Saturn, so should is in my vocabulary. I know some people hate the word should, and I start thinking I should do X, I should do Y. And it just keeps coming up to my conscious attention, whether it's, oh, I really need to call so-and-so, or I really need to schedule a doctor's appointment, whatever it is. I've noticed that it's often at a first quarter moon where I'm getting that message from my subconscious that I need to take action about something. It's also a time where problems can surface related to the house that the new moon is in or the sun is traveling in. And we need to make decisions. At the full moon, all is illuminated. Emotions are high. This is where bus drivers, emergency rooms, the police, teachers all know that people are going to be more emotional, more likely to act out because of the energy is at a peak. It's a wonderful time for celebration, making your plans public, having a little ceremony, releasing and forgiving, and letting go what is no longer serving you. But witnessing what has come up, what sign is the sun in? What sign is the moon in? What themes in your life? What have you learned about these themes at this time? Also, you can think about, look at the houses in your chart. What an axis. Every sign is on an axis, like Aries and Libra is the self, Aries, the other Libra, Taurus and Scorpio. My resources, Taurus, and your resources, Scorpio. Now, this is also the axis of pleasure, power, and resources. Yeah, so there's all these things. Yeah, Gemini and Sagittarius. It goes on and on like that. They're each on an axis. And so think about, what have I learned about this axis? We just had a full moon in Cancer and Capricorn, and the themes were about the authority versus home, homeland, security. There was a lot about parents and children. There's a lot about, what we do to keep ourselves safe, what we do to achieve our goals. Okay.
I have another question.
Yes.
I always get Donna Marie says, I always get confused with this. Do we do this every 29 days or when the full moon and new moon cycles?
Well, you should set intention at the new moon, and which happens approximately every 29 days. And then you should, 2 weeks later, there'll be a full moon, and you're going to get a handout, which gives you all the dates. So you'll have all the dates that you can pay attention to. So yes, so every 29 days, I would recommend going through this where you're looking a new moon, you set an intention at the first quarter moon, you take some time to think about what is visible, what do I need to change. At the full moon, you witness and see what has come through fruition, celebrate any little wins you've made, and release what no longer is serving you. And then at the closing quarter moon, that a week later, is the crisis of consciousness, the cleanup. You find wisdom, you reap rewards or consequences. So you kind of just take some time to reflect and think about what has gone on since the last new moon. And journaling is a wonderful thing to do throughout these. I cannot read my handwriting, so I do my journaling on my iPad. And what I'll do is, so tomorrow's a new moon in Capricorn. So I'll say new moon at 28 degrees of Capricorn and put the date. And then I'll journal about what my intentions are and just any thoughts that come up. I like to pull cards and have that stimulate my subconscious into thinking about what's relevant to my life. Like, what does this full moon want me to focus on? What do I need to know about Capricorn topics? What about Capricorn's in my 7th house? So what do I need to be aware of around my relationships? So great questions. Okay. And there are also actions taken at the last quarter moon as well. And you can watch, if you pay attention to what people are telling you, the news, like you can see, like tomorrow, what are we waking up to? And things are happening today. And over the next couple of days, there will be things that come to light. So whatever is happening like today, tomorrow, at the new moon, the moon is already in Capricorn now, but it's the new moon is going to happen at 28 degrees. Now, over the next 3.5 days, we'll get to the crescent moon. 2.5 days. And by the crescent moon, we're starting to see themes of what actions are taken. And Capricorn rules governments. So we'll be noticing things about governments taking actions if you pay attention to the news. Or it could be if you work for a company or whatever, anyone, the boss can be giving you something new that comes to light about what you're going to be doing going forward as an organization. Or, if you yourself have your own business, you're doing your plans, something may come to your conscious attention about some action you need to take. Or sometimes things come in the mail that are related to the cycles. It's when you start like really watching in the rhythm, it's mind-blowing how accurate astrology is and how it speaks to what's going on in our daily life. Now, I have a South Node in Virgo, so I love all the nitty-gritty, the little minutia. Some people are just bigger picture. Don't tell me about you got a letter on the day that Venus was trying your Uranus, telling you a check, you got a check. And when I get those things, I'm like, ooh, but other people are like, whatever. Okay, so this year feels different. And I wanted to talk a little bit about why the rhythm feels off. So every month, as we move through the different zodiac seasons, the sun moves from 0 to 29 degrees of the sign. Each sign has 29 degrees. And it carries energy of newness through development, through culmination and completion. So when the sun moves into Aquarius on Monday, our eyes turn to something related to Aquarius themes, which are groups, organizations, friends, technology. There's going to be something Monday where we're turning our eyes to this. Now, as we move through the cycle, then there's like 15 degrees. Like we're in the middle of the cycle. We're just humming along, but things are developing. And then as we get to those last degrees, and the 29th degree of every sign is called the anaretic degree. Oh my God. I bought, oh no. I wonder if some people can't get in. I bought the, well, sorry if anyone can't get in. You'll get the recording. I don't want to. Here we go with the, okay. I don't want to, apologies.
It's just showing everything.
Hi, Anna. I recognize your voice.
Hello.
What did I do? Okay, wait. Let me stop sharing for 1
I
second.
love it.
This is Mercury Mars. Oh, no. Oh,
Yeah.
no. I have over 100 people here. Okay. Everything's fine, I think. I hope.
Some people just can't navigate the Zoom stuff.
Yeah, some people just can't do it.
Apologies, everyone. I saw like this message and I got paranoid because over 100 people signed up. So I bought the bigger package, whatever. If you couldn't get in and you're watching the recording, my apologies. Okay. Why the rhythm feels off. Okay, so we got that. The sun moves from the 0 to the 29th degree. But right now, the new moons, and this has been going on since September, where we had the solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo. The new moons are at the ends of the sign. So you see tomorrow's 28 degrees. Then we have a solar eclipse at 28, 28. So there, since last September, they've all been at those last degrees. And so any last degrees you have in your chart, those things are being excited and at every new moon in different ways, depending on if it's a trine, a square, an opposition, the different aspects. And so they're themes of saturation, like Capricorn. We've been talking about governments since the sun went into Capricorn. But we're under right now a new moon that was at 28 degrees of Sagittarius. So there's all this Sagittarian energy as feeling as well. Like if you set intentions, you're trying to work on your Sagittarius stuff, but there's all this Capricorn stuff happening. So to me, it feels like the rhythm feels a little off. I like where you have a new moon in Sagittarius and then a full moon in Gemini, rather than a full moon in Gemini than a new moon in Sagittarius. Now, if there's a reason the cycle is off, and it's because we're in a time of immense change where things happen and then you react to them rather than you start something and see it come to fruition in a more natural cycle, if that makes sense. So this means the season begins, the full moon happens early. So we have a new moon in Capricorn tomorrow. On Monday, the sun will move into Aquarius. And then we get to the full moon will be in Leo before we have the Aquarius new moon. So Aquarius and Leo are opposite each other. So I hope that makes sense. So the full moon comes early and we have this like crisis and confrontation, and it may not happen on the day of the full moon. It may happen after the full moon. But over those 2 weeks, because you have the full moon and then the light starts to disseminate over the 2 weeks. Yeah. So, yeah. And then the new moon arrives later and the tension is exposed. So, just like a world stage thing that happened, the United States grabbed Maduro at the full moon. And then it was happened this week that Maria Conchado, if you've been following that, she's the opposition leader of Venezuela. She gave the president her Nobel Peace Prize because she wants to be leader of Venezuela. So there's still things that are happening that were related to that full moon. And so we'll see if there's any announcement shortly about her being the new president. I mean, what we're dealing with, what we're seeing is so wild. It's intense. Also, we had a full moon in Cancer, and Cancer rules the homeland. And there was at that full moon, there was, it really came to elevated this story about child care facilities in Minnesota. Some YouTuber made a video making accusations. I don't want to get into what's right, what's wrong, what's true. But what happened is the people in Minnesota have been watching ICE trying to protect the local residents, and that woman Renee Good was murdered. Which was just horrible in that conflict with the ICE agent. Now, I don't want to get into whose fault it was, but this is what happened, and we're seeing there's a culmination happening today as a group of white nationalists went to Minnesota to confront the protesters, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm praying for Minnesota that people will keep cooler heads, but there could be a new start related to that, what happened at the full moon, where there was this amplification of ICE going into Minnesota because of this Somali daycare, all this stuff happening. I hope that makes sense. And now there's going to be new starts related to that. So if you watch the stories, watch the cycles, look at the energy, the archetypes of the signs, the world starts to make more sense. And you start to be able to feel like there is an order to the disorder. Okay, but you'll get this in the email. And if you don't get the email, make sure you're subscribed to my mailing list. You can just go on and do it so that you'll get the recording if you signed up. If you didn't subscribe, you won't. If you can always email me if you don't get the recording. Okay. So what this reversed order feels like is, so in a comfortable thing, which I just said, it feels like, oh, a new moon. I set intentions. Oh, it's growing. I'm making adjustments. The full moon. Oh, yes. Like say you wanted to walk 10,000 steps a day and you're just doing it. And at the first quarter moon, oh, my feet hurt. I got to get new shoes. So you get new shoes. And at the full moon, you're feeling better. You're sleeping better. You're showing off you bought something cute because your clothes fit better, and you're celebrating. And then at the last quarter moon, you're telling everybody about how great you feel about walking. And then a new moon comes at the next. Now, this year's rhythm, there's revelations. Like, what could be a revelation? You go to the doctor and they say, if you don't lose weight, you're going to have a health crisis. So you get the revelation, and then there's a response and the reorientation and the integration. So maybe you spend 2 weeks figuring out what can I do, blah, 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 blah. And then you have to take action based on what you were told that came out of nowhere and is disorienting and causing you inner stress. So it's like an Uno reverse. You get the Uno reverse card and you have to draw two. And you didn't want to draw two, but you have to draw two, if that makes sense. Does that make sense, Suzanne?
Yes, yes.
So this creates an experience that events happen before intentions are set. Meaning arrives after the fact. Action follows revelation. Now you still may, start walking at that next new moon and start feeling good, getting the new shoes, looking cute, sleeping better, but it came because of a crisis rather than you did it because you wanted to do it. And this feels disorienting, and the work is to respond consciously, not force new beginnings if you can. Because the image I'm getting for this year is to be the willow tree, bending without breaking, moving as the wind blows. Flexibility is a strength, not a weakness. And can you adjust without self-judgment? Say you had this big plan and then something came out of nowhere and you had to change things, and it just is the energy right now. So the first quarter helps you test, refine, and redirect yourself. And can you move with the current, not against it? This year is going to reward responsiveness rather than rigidity. And can you understand when other people are experiencing these things? So I'll pause there. Are there any other questions, Suzanne?
I was just answering yes. Somebody asked us if the first full moon in February will be in Leo, and I said, and yes, it will be.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have a Capricorn new moon, so you're setting intentions about Capricornian themes, but the full moon is in Leo, which is, and the sun will now have moved into Aquarius. So it's the rhythm is off. So there's also, this year is requiring us to have a deep let go. And people keep asking me, when is this going to end? And this is why I wanted to give a little insights about this bigger theme we're also in addition to the Saturn Neptune cycle coming together, which starts, I don't think I said it, it's a 36-year cycle happening on, the exact date is February 20th, but we're already feeling it. The last time Saturn and Neptune met, they met in Capricorn. And what we experienced was like the Berlin Wall fell, so the USSR fell. I live in the Bay Area. We had this horrible earthquake, and literally the Bay Bridge, one of the, I don't know what you call it, but one of the things like fell down, and then part of a freeway collapsed. So there's themes of like the tower kind of collapsing. Also back then in 1990, so it was 1989 when Saturn and Neptune met in Capricorn, the United States went into Panama and grabbed Manuel Noriega. And now here 36 years later with a Saturn-Neptune cycle, we went and grabbed Maduro from Venezuela. So cycles repeat. And when you see this happening, it helps not necessarily make everything better, but it helps it make more sense. But what we have in the sky is called a cosmic wedge, or a talent trine, or a mini grand trine. And this started last July, and it's going to be back in effect in April, where Uranus moved into the sign of Gemini, an air sign. Air communicates and connects. The air signs are humane, so they impact the lives of people. Uranus is a disruptor, so unexpected changes come in. Gemini is a mutable sign, so it feels like they're coming in, when you don't expect them. Like just last week, Verizon, it's still this week. Verizon went out for people across the country, and it caused a lot of agita unexpectedly, and plans had to change. And this is something that's going to be happening more frequently. And we've seen it since last year, where Heathrow had a big problem, and Spain, Portugal, and France, parts of the countries lost power unexpectedly one day. And I love seeing how Europeans reacted. Like my whole career, I've worked for companies not my whole career, but most of my career, that were headquartered in Europe. So I used to go over there for work stuff, and just a whole different way of life and a different perspective. And people, rather than freaking out, there were a lot of people, I'm sure people freaked out, but there were a lot of people in the plaza enjoying music, socializing, making the adjustment, and just seizing the day. So the more we can do things like that, I think the better. And
Celeste, I
then,
have a couple of questions whenever you get a moment.
okay, ask me now.
Okay. Somebody asked, could this be a pattern be good for setting 6-month intentions too?
This pattern, yes, this pattern can be good for setting your larger goals, because Uranus stays in the same sign, and it's going to be impacting the same area of your chart for 7 years. Pluto's in Aquarius for 20 years, and Neptune is going to be going back into Aries and staying there for 14 years. So this is a big cycle where you can have long range plans, considering what's happening. And they're going to move to like 4 degrees this year, so it's moving slowly, so it's impacting your chart. It's like giving like a big amount of energy for an extended period of time. So yes, these can be used to make big plans. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. And then somebody asked, Leo moon, Aquarius sun, how does opposing show up?
Leo moon, Aquarius sun. So you were born at a full moon. Do you know what houses your sun and your moon are in?
I think he was talking about the full moon, but I'm not sure, Chris, if you want to clarify.
Say that again.
The full moon, we were talking about the Leo full moon, the next full moon, and he asked about how the opposition shows up. Because the Leo full moon will have Aquarius sun, right?
The Leo full moon will have so the sun will be spotlighting topics related to Aquarius. So that is friends, groups, organizations. And the moon will be in Leo. So this could show up as, and Leo is about how you shine your light, how it's your personal serenity. You can also think about how Leo is the performer and Aquarius is the audience. So it could be as simple as you tell a joke and someone gives you feedback about it, like that's the greatest joke ever, or how dare you say something like that. Things like that could be coming up. Now maybe you write something on Threads and you have like 20 followers, and then because the moon rules the people, and then it blows up and all of a sudden you have 40,000 followers or something like that. So I have been cracking up on some of the things on Threads lately. Some people, these really witty, snappy things people are saying about all kinds of topics. I like the callback is funny. So yeah, that's
and then somebody asked, is February 28th an important day for this year? February 20th, I know is.
February 28th is not coming to mind. The moon moves into Leo on the 28th, so it's right before the full moon. So you might start seeing things related to the full moon really show up.
But February 20th is the Saturn Neptune conjunction.
Yes.
She might be referring to that big
February
transit.
20th. That's a big date, yes. And I think we will see something like right on that date, rather that's big, or there'll be announcements that are really important. Mm-hmm.
And then Karen asked, do we use whole signs when using a moon cycle?
You can. Sometimes it's just like I naturally in my head think about, okay, I have Capricorn's my 7th house. Now, part of Capricorn's in my 6th house, and I do notice themes come up related to that. But, you can just make it as easy as you want to for yourself when you're using these to set intentions. Absolutely. You can just use whole sign. If you want to use Placidus or any other quadrant system or whatever, equal, whatever, you can. Use what works for you, but I think it's very easy to use. And I typically, when I'm doing it myself, just use the whole sign. Now, I don't have any intercepted houses, so that's also helpful for me.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, great. Yes. So I was saying how Uranus is in Gemini. It's going into Gemini again in April 26th. And then an air sign that relates to people. And then it's in a smooth, easy flowing trine. And trines are associated with luck, ease, and harmony, but they also remove all restrictions. So you can think about you're walking and you slip on a patch of ice, next thing you know, you're on the ground. That's also a trine. So sometimes it can be like things removing all restrictions, like the Titanic sinking to the bottom of the ocean is not necessarily, it's not always good, just so you know. Now, Pluto's in Aquarius, and this has been going on since 2023, where there's massive transformation. That's what Pluto does. Pluto transforms, unearths. It's power struggles. It's a lot of intensity in the sign of Aquarius, which rules technology. ChatGPT was Pluto entering Aquarius. That was like the wake up call about Pluto and Aquarius, AI. It also seismic changes in groups, organizations, things like that has been a big part of Pluto in Aquarius. So you can think about with that trine, like there's massive changes to the collective coming from Uranus, like all these Uranus things, these disruptive technologies and all kinds of stuff. Now, both of them are making a sextile to Neptune in Aries, which is a fire sign, and which is, it's like belief systems, and people are feeling, how would I say, we're going to be seeing new mythic heroes rise. And as well, Neptune in Aries, I call that pop the balloon, because Neptune went from Pisces, where like you've drank all the Kool-Aid that you can handle, and it starts to taste funny, like, ooh, this doesn't taste so good. And it's like, the pixie dust blows up, because Neptune and Pisces, Neptune's at home in Pisces. It's like the illusion, the dream, the imagination at the highest realm. It's also like cult leaders. Jim Jones, the cult leader, is a very Neptune and Pisces type person who took the people to Guyana and said, here, drink this Kool-Aid that was going to kill them. That's like Neptune going into Aries, popping the balloon, and you realize, uh-oh, what you thought wasn't real. Cult leaders falling. So that's the trine. And I called it, when it went in, that this, now right now we're finishing up cycles that started in 2011 and 2018, but I called this the road to Damascus chart pattern, where everyone in some way got a wake-up call. And it started last July, where you preconceived notions were shattered. And you may have felt it earlier than that. And your concept of societal dynamics was transformed, and deception washed away from the eyes. So in some way, think about how that, how that happened in your life. And my big point with this is that this orb is tight. It's again from April 25th of this year for the rest of the decade. So When is this going to be changing, where there's a smooth, easy flowing energy of big, massive changes to society, to daily life of Gemini and Aquarius, and with that Neptune and Aries, that fire, where there's unseen dramatics, excitement, new beginnings about belief systems and the dreams and what have you. This is lasting for the rest of the decade. So we're in a time of big change, and we'll see what happens. But as Andre Barbeau said, this could be an amazing opportunity for societies to transform themselves and humans to come up and awaken to the next level of spiritual evolution. This is possible. And so one of the things is Prometheus Unleashed. So the song Brave by Sarah Bareilles can be a song you think about that also embodies this energy. And as economies are shifting, people are reinventing themselves. There are lots of people who've been laid off. They've got to figure out what to do. People are starting their own businesses. They're doing all sorts of things, but fortune is favoring the brave. Some people are creating apps and selling. I mean, there's so much people can be doing as the workplace changes. Now, there's also altered states. You blinded me with science. The psychological overwhelm of all of this change is causing some people to crash out. And like people crash out intermittently. I crash out every once in a while where I'm so mad about the injustice of some things happening, unnecessary change. I cannot believe we're talking about going to war with Greenland. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. But people are also like having relationships with AI. And I'll never forget, there was this thing on Instagram where this guy was talking about how he asked his AI agent to marry him. And then the next scene, and she said yes. And then the next scene, he's sitting with the woman he lives with, who he has not married, and who has his child on her lap, and is saying, I don't know what I did wrong. So people are losing it in some ways. Now they're also like pop stars signing deals and weird stuff happening. An actress is signing a deal, but we can reject that. There's also The Fly in the Ointment, which is Turn the Beat Around, is the song that I think goes with this, where mythic heroes are rising. Revolutionaries are banding together against the power. Saturn in Aries slows the roll of the Saturn Neptune of, trying to just pick up every immigrant in the country and throw them in a detention center or throw them out of the country or what have you. Like, you see this is what's happening in Minnesota as we speak. There's been places where the glitter bombs, agents unmasked. I'm not advocating for anything, but if you know me, I'm not a big fan of taking away people's civil rights without due process. Okay. And Blessed Are the Children is another. Uranus and Gemini rules children. Aries has associations with children. These are big themes about children. When Uranus went into Gemini that day, it was about Jeffrey Epstein, and he was an abuser of children, where the government said, nothing to see here. He didn't have a list. He killed himself. None of this was real. End of story. Well, people weren't listening to that. So the demands, The Greatest Love of All is the song that I associate with that, Whitney Houston version. Demands for the files to bring accountability for child abuse are going to keep getting louder, and it's so much bigger than just that horrific child abuse. We're seeing measles outbreaks, SNAP benefits being yanked, all these things. So these are some of the different ways that this energy is showing up, where there are massive changes around groups, around children, people, and mental things, Gemini, all of this. Uranus is the revolutionary, all of these things. So I hope did that make sense, Suzanne?
Yes.
Any
Yes.
questions?
No, not so far.
Okay. So karmic page turners. So now we get to some of the big page turners. And so every 18 months, the north node and the south node of the moon are transiting signs. And this is a collective call, and it speaks to what is in focus for the collective. And since January 11th of 2011 until July of this year, so something's coming July 26th, right around then, that's a big change. That changes our what we're focused on. Last year, it moved from the North Node moved from Aries to Pisces, and literally we saw LA fires, and then literally water, fire. Aries is fire, Pisces is water. Water being dropped from the sky on the fires, and yeah, that was what we saw literally. But the big thing was the Trump administration, the second Trump administration coming in. And this is the axis of mental and physical well-being. These are all of the things. I won't read them. I gave a present. It's on my YouTube channel, Astrology by Celeste YouTube. Please like and subscribe. That all of these things you can. I did a presentation called Cosmic Flow where I talked about this. So if you wanna watch it, that's from before it happened, and see how it showed up, you can just read. These things have been what's in focus the last year. Oh, and I should say the North Node amplifies things of a Piscean nature. The South Node drains things of a Virgoan nature. Okay.
I have a question really quick before you move on. If these nodes are personal natal nodes, how does this affect what's happening on a personal level?
So you look at where the North Node is going in your chart. And that house is where you're having themes amplified of a Piscean nature. Pisces rules the imagination. It's very, it's a water sign. It can also be about our feelings of weakness or hopelessness. It has associations with our mental well-being. Like, think about how many people are experiencing mental overwhelm and confusion right now because we don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, we woke up one day, everybody's being tariffed, things are going away like the Department of Education or whatever. Every day there's something new happening where there's confusion, Pisces, and think about what house it's in. Now, it's also imagination and creativity. So think about the feelings of oneness or togetherness. Think about what house that's happening in your chart. Now, she's
talking about her personal, so she's either having a nodal return or a reverse nodal return. She didn't say what.
Oh, okay. If I look at your chart, I'll talk about that, but I don't want to get up into track. I'm having a nodal return right now. So what happens when the North Node comes to your North Node? It's giving you an opportunity to have better. We're supposed to move from our South Node to our North Node, at least, and balance them, move, whatever. People have different perspective. Our South Node is what we come into this life with and our talents, but we also the shadows can come up. We can get real comfortable in our South Node. So when you're having a nodal return, your South Node is like really loud, is amplified, showing you where you are on your journey from moving to the North Node to the South Node. When you're in the flip, it's a big deal where you can really have more consequences if you're off the path or you're leaning too heavily into your South Node. Like if you have a South Node in Virgo, think about our themes of perfectionism, anxiety, overanalysis really coming up, because Virgo's job is to bring order to chaos, and it could be organizing, systematizing things. Well, in a lack of order because the south node is a drain, you can really feel like you're going into overdrive trying to control things and make them work. Or are you just trusting the process, releasing, doing the north node in Pisces, being in flow, that sort of thing. Having faith, Pisces over anxiety and fear, Virgo, trusting the process. So hopefully that's helpful.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So Bernadette Brady, okay. So the solar eclipse at 28 degrees of Aquarius is the next eclipse, and eclipses happen every 6 months, and it's like the channel changes. And we walk through a door and we turn around and there's a wall. They are new moons. Solar eclipses are new moons times 10 or 10,000, depending on how they impact your chart. Lunar eclipses are full moons times 10 or 10,000s, how they impact your chart. And when the nodes move into a sign, they bounce. The eclipses are triggered by when the sun crosses the sun gets close to the north node or the south node, and it triggers eclipse season. And so just know that this is like all of a sudden we're going to be doing something else, and it's going to be feeling a little herky-jerky because the north node's in Pisces, but we're going to have a solar eclipse in Aquarius. So Bernadette Brady is a brilliant astrologer who delineated all of these. They're called serocycles. I'm not going to get into it. You can take my transits class if you want to know it deeper for Kepler College. It's starting, I think, April 1st. Anyway, I'll let people know when it's happening. But anyway, there's going to be a strong emphasis on communication for this particular solar eclipse. There may be frustrating or inhibiting events due to the news, paperwork, and we know people are carrying their passports and all sorts of things in the US, or a young person. So themes may come up related to your kids or things. And this is based on the birth chart of this cycle that lasts 1,300 years. If you can avoid multitasking, and there can be a drain on vitality. So this is why I'm saying really pay attention to do what you can about your health. And from my perspective of this Sero cycle, and there may be events that are reflective of what happened in your life in 2008 or 1990. These happen every 18 years or so. So just be mindful. There's easy access to conflict, and crusader energy intensifies. So just be aware. And we're seeing it, There's potential for systematic failures or something technological or power outages. So just make sure you keep your stuff charged. I would keep your gas tank full. Have stuff in the house in case you can't get out. There can be really big weather problems because when Aquarius solar eclipses happen, there can be sudden air pressure swings, electrical storms, freezing temperatures. I think there could also be like volcano eruptions, but it can be not necessarily a volcano. It could be like human being volcano eruptions as well. So just be mindful. We're already seeing the rebellion strikes, all of this. Eclipses start coming in 6 weeks ahead, and then a month or so after. So what's happening in Iran is very related to this eclipse that's happening and that could be where there's a culmination where the Iranian government falls potentially or retakes control. But this is something I got, that soldiers may be refusing to fight for some reason, because Saturn and Neptune in Aries can also be the end of conflict. Maybe the war in Ukraine will be over. The army, the head of the military is very resistant to drawing a plan to invade Greenland. So we shall see. But this is the chart. It's at 28 degrees of Aquarius, so you can look and see where that is in your natal chart. What house is it in? Think about Aquarius topics. Notice what's coming up in your life right now. See how Saturn and Neptune are conjunct almost? They meet on the February 20th. Okay, so we may not see it right away, but I think by February 20th, everybody will be clear on what one of the Saturn Neptune stories is. I called it alarm bells. And then 2 weeks later, we have a full moon in Virgo, so a different axis, but it's at 12 degrees of Virgo. So the sun will be at 12 Pisces, the moon 12 Virgo. Mercury will be retrograde, so there's a real possibility of deception being exposed. It's in the sign of Pisces, and these are some of the things I'm expecting. Water problems, conflict at seas, but there'll be a lot of exposure of deception, propaganda, intelligence gathering. There's going to be some big stuff like that. But for yourself, think about what's exposed to you about Virgo topics. So Virgo rules health, systems, it's our intestines. You can think about what order to chaos? What order do you need to bring to chaos? The sun will be spotlighting on your Pisces house, the moon in Virgo. What on that axis comes to your conscious attention, and do you need to make adjustments because of that? Yeah. There's big potential for system failure. So through this couple of weeks, just be mindful. I think there's going to be big stuff about the Epstein files scandal coming out at this time, because his Mars and Venus are at 15 and 16 degrees of Pisces, and the sun is headed right for them. And Mercury retrograde, stuff coming, secrets revealed. Now, for your own life, this may be something, there may rhyme with something that happened in your life in 2007 or 1988, because there was a lunar eclipse at 12 Virgo on these 2 dates, these 2 years. I'm calling it Venus flytrap, so we'll see how it shows up. I get like psychic hits too. So let me pause there. So that opens a 6-month cycle, and there'll be events that are related to that as you move through the new moons. Just keep that in mind, that this is the bigger picture of where there'll be some focus on the Aquarius house in your chart and the Virgo house in your chart is where, and you're growing in the Aquarius, or things are amplified in the Aquarius, and there's more of a let go in the Virgo, if that makes sense. But you're already feeling the revelations and the let go in the Virgo house. Okay, any comments, Suzanne?
No, a couple of personal things which I took care of, and yeah, we'll wait for the hot takes.
Okay. So how am I doing on time? Let me see. Okay, good.
13.
Yeah. Okay, I should finish up by the 3rd and then have a half an hour for hot takes. Okay. So the North Node will move into Aquarius July 26th of this year through March 26th of 2028. So there is a big seismic shift that's happening right around this time, where the collective is going to move their focus from Pisces Virgo topics dominating the news or in our daily lives to Leo Aquarius topics dominating the news and our daily lives. And this is the axis of personal sovereignty and collective liberation. Now, leaders will rise and fall around this time. We're already seeing like gurus kind of being pushed to the side. Celebrity culture is being more and more scorned. People, a lot of people are having trouble putting food on the table. They're not really interested in seeing some celebrity on their yacht bragging about their $40,000 shoes. Jeff Bezos and his wife got ran out of Venice, I believe, for their wedding because people weren't having any of it. So we're going to continue to see stuff like that amplifying, but groupthink and ideological rigidity are rising. We already feel it. And we need to be mindful about dehumanization, seeing people as not like real people, but just symbolic of some group. But the beauty is that community-based solutions are going to continue to rise. And so the more you can be in community, the better. Desires for fun and spectacle when the South Node goes into Leo are going to be amplified. So collective responsibility is going to replace individual exceptionalism. So there's going to be themes of how we're all in this together and how we need to help each other at time. But these technology, AI, networks, grids, all these things are going to be in more focus. And we'll be seeing liberation and enlightenment movements happening, and scientific and innovation. And there could be big stock market swings because when there are Leo eclipses, especially, they square Taurus and Scorpio, which is the axis of has to do with the axis of resources, including money. There are going to be big shifts in the entertainment industry. Now, themes to be aware of, there are going to be like more fires, heat, lightning storms, that sort of thing. When Uranus, like we had some lightning storms last summer in California. I was like, I've never seen anything like it. There are themes happening to the environment that are impacting us collectively, like more rainstorms and more fires, things like that. But the solar eclipse in Leo on the 12th of August can be really nice for some people. I'm calling it grab the bull by the horns, but Bernadette Brady talks about how it's breaking out of a negative situation where no hope can be seen to a more positive space with many options. Worries clear. So some people may be, they get their divorce papers at that time, or they're, something happens where you felt like it's like you're released from prison of some sort. Like if you had a horrible boss, they leave the company, or if you have a horrible leader, they quit or something. The gate swings open and what has felt trapped can potentially move. So great works of art will be created. Leo is creative, it's fixed fire, it's dynamic, it's like putting on a big show, it's passionate, it's fun, it's there can be really wonderful things. Now, it also can be like holy war energy because Mars is squaring Neptune, but Jupiter is in Leo, Mercury is in Leo, the South Node's also there, so we have to be mindful not to get too crazy because there could be drains on Leonic things, like celebrities, scandals are going to be coming up. There can be royalty scandals or people passing away who are royal kind of thing. Leaders rise and fall. So, but there can be some really nice energy around this time, possibly. And then, so the nodes will have switched. So when we have this lunar eclipse in Pisces, it'll feel very different from the lunar eclipse in Pisces we had last September, where it was like, that's when people thought they were being raptured. And it was like a little bit, people kind of got a little bit into a dream state, but this feels very artistic. artistic. So the moon is conjunct this fixed star, which is the swan, genius, messages from beyond. So people may still be getting messages beyond and having mystical experiences, but it's going to take on a different nature. I don't think they're going to be thinking they're going to be dying, but we'll see what happens. Mars squares Saturn, so there can be nationalism stuff, but there can be breakthrough thinking, genius discoveries. If you're in the US and you vote, be very mindful about your making sure you're still registered. Okay. Any questions?
No, that's it.
So those are the two big pieces of the year. And you can think about, like, if you're launching something, like, really think about, and it's going to be launching in September, think about how groups and organizations and community are going to be more in focus than the Pisces topics at this time. So there's going to be a big shift. Like the words you use you want to make change, like liberation or freedom may be more in line than empathy and compassion, which we're talking about now. Okay. Just letting you know some things I have available. So I have a digital lunar planning guide. It's only $22. It's a digital fillable guide. I'll put it in the recording if you want to get it, to work with all of the moon cycles with. It has affirmations and all sorts of things and prompts that you can work with the moon cycles. Every year I work with my collaborator Tiffany. She creates this amazing Wise Skies calendar, and you can get a coupon if you use my code ABC 2026. And this puts all the transits of the year on your phone or computer or both, or iPad. And they're really great write-ups that can help you learn astrology as well as plan your year. I'm doing my proper care and feeding of the moon class. It's a lot of the lessons are you just do on your own time, but I will be having 2 live sessions. So you'll get pre-recorded lessons, downloadable resources, a moon insights journal so you can track and sync with the transiting moon, and then 2 live Q&A sessions. Now, if you bought the on-demand, you'll be receiving an email so that you can just at a lower price join the 2 live sessions. But this is a course where you'll learn about your moon sign, you'll have tools to care for your well-being, and you'll strengthen your intuition and live with more clarity and flow. So this, oh, I didn't fix the date. The dates are February 1 and 8, and they're going to be the live sessions. One payment of $97 or 2 of $55. It's a very comprehensive, lots of lessons. You'll learn all about your natal moon. And there's a link. I sent you, can you drop the link in the?
I did.
Okay, great.
I dropped both, a couple of links in there.
Thank you. And this is where you can find me. The Celestial Insights podcast drops every week for you to help you get 3 big themes and the big transits to look for, words of the day, and all of that kind of stuff to help you stay with the energies. I don't do new moon workshops anymore. I should have updated this. But anyway, you can book a reading, event, mentoring, or coaching with me. And I'm on Instagram around 10 a.m. every Wednesday. And Dabney Lawless and I are doing new moon and full moon YouTubes where we talk about like the politics and stuff. We both like to talk about politics. Okay, so let me pause. Any questions people want to ask before we get into the natal charts?
No more questions. Everybody's saying that they loved this, and thank you so much. A lot
Oh,
of
good.
positive comments.
Oh, good, good, good. Okay. Miroslava, are you here? Come off mute if you're here. Are you here? Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Misa, can you come off mute?
Um, yes, how I do it?
Yeah, I can hear you. Wonderful. Okay. So I told Misa I would look at her chart, and she has volunteered to talk about, give us, kind of keep it tight. Like, what are you facing right now? Do you have any big question? And you don't know your birth time, so we're going to have to keep it general, but give me like what the situation you're dealing with, and I'll give you my hot take on it.
I was born in communist country, and uh, my grandfather was very hardly punished by the government, and he lost everything. And I grew up in that country like a child. And then I met person, and he was from America, and I ended in America. And a couple of years ago, I went to friend, take care of friend. He wished to die at home, and I was supposed to be there with him maybe a week or two, but somehow he healed from that stage 4 cancer, and I took care of him. And when I came back, my firstborn son, very sweet son, we had very good connection, was a dating girl. He started kind of date her when I was leaving. He already dated her. And when I came back, something happened to my family, and her parents and the girl and my son took over our home, and they kicked us out from our home, and I couldn't connect with him, and it's very hard, and I am still trying, and I have no idea how he was very strong, always, and he's under there.
So when did he kick you out of your home? Date, or approximately?
It happened, I went 2023 to Colorado, January, end of the Colorado, and when I came back in April, they started bullying me very hardly, and I hope my English is kind of
It's
funny,
okay.
right?
Just give me a date where, like, a month where the climax where he kicked you out of the house.
So it started like a May 23, but it took few months. I was trying to talk him into different situation, but there was this person, the father, he didn't let me talk to him, and then end of the year I was kicked out, and my husband was still able live in the back of the house, and then they kicked him out as well. So it
So
happened end of the year,
December 2023.
December 7, I guess,
2023.
23.
Okay. So we'll just use this as a learning experience. I'm sorry to hear about, all your difficulties. But what was happening in that time, now we don't know the houses because we don't know Misa's birth time. She doesn't know her birth time. But if you look at the chart, what she is describing is upheaval in her family, disruption in her home, losing her home. The planet Uranus in that year was, she doesn't know her birth time, so we don't know her exact degree of the moon, but Uranus was on her moon. Astrology is a language, and she just described to a T this experience of upheaval in her family and with her home. And also what started in this year was that, let me see, we don't know her ascendant anything, so we don't know what exactly Pluto was doing in her chart. But like just looking at her noon chart, you can see it looks like we don't know if she's a Cancer rising, but the noon chart can be helpful to see like people's bigger experience. And she's describing a power struggle. Pluto typically involves, three different things, like two people and a thing, or two people and resources or groups. So it's her and her husband, her son and his girlfriend, and the housing situation, this power struggle over these resources, which Taurus rules. And then she started her second Saturn return in the sign of Pisces. So what I would say is, do you have a question for now? What's going on with now in your life? Because I
You
would just,
know,
hmm?
I have a question. I was thinking, does it have something to do with my grandpa when he lost for 40 years or more his home and he was punished by the government? Can it repeat itself in history? Is it something what can bring
Um,
like that?
well, you do have the Neptune conjunct the South Node, and the South Node has associations with family. And are you an evolutionary astrologer, Suzanne?
Yes, I am.
What would you say about that? I'm going to defer to you because I am not an evolutionary astrologer.
Yes. So, well, I would say that patterns repeat in families a lot. I see that
Mhm.
trend, but especially if you have a planet on the South Node. And so with Neptune on the node in Scorpio, there's loss. You don't know the house, so it's hard to say specifically, but if you're it is related to a spiritual path, a spiritual loss, death, um um confusion, um and all of those Neptunian elements that can come back and repeat. But you are here to go toward Taurus, which is more stability, and you've got the moon on your north node, so finding stability and a home is very important in this lifetime. So you're going from a place of loss to one of finding that stability and finding that freedom in stability.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I would say for you this year, using the moon cycles if you want, whatever, like having a practical plan. Tomorrow is a Capricorn moon. Can you have, like, what are the steps you're going to be taking to bring more security into your life? And whether it's looking for jobs, looking for whatever, this is up for you to decide, but keep moving forward with your goals, because when Saturn goes back into Aries, it's going to go over your sun and your Mars. So I'm hoping life gets easier for you when Uranus gets out of Gemini, but the challenges aren't over yet. So what you can do is just whatever you can do to keep on track with accepting what losses have happened and bring more stability in your life through planning and taking care of your health, because Saturn coming to your sun can be feeling of your health is a little depressed. So just take good care of yourself. I hope that helped for you to get some insights. And
Can I have one more question?
real quick, because I want to make sure to talk to other
Okay.
people.
I had very good connection with my son, very strong, and
Mm-hmm.
he kind of lost like our. He doesn't see anymore what we were together. Is it way how I can bring it back to him, because he's always with those people. They control him
Okay. Let me
for
just
the
pull a
money.
card for your son, your relationship with your son. Just something to think about. Since I don't know your houses, I can't see that specific relationship, but Mercury rules children, and you have your Mercury in Pisces, and Neptune is on your Mercury, and Saturn is on your Mercury. And maybe once they get deeper into Aries, your son will like come out of the fog of being hypnotized by these other people, and maybe your relationship can come back to healing. So don't give up hope, is what I would say.
It means just be quiet and wait and let
It
it.
just may take time,
Yes.
and Ah, interesting. I pulled the card ordinariness for you. That's like a Virgo card. And I think this just says the important things for you to do right now are you are facing a time now when the easy, natural, and utterly ordinary approach to the situations you encounter will bring you far better results than any attempt on your part to be brilliant, clever, or otherwise extraordinary. Forget about making headlines. The special gift you have right now is best presented by taking things easily and simply one step at a time. So I think that says what I said about practical planning steps to bring more stability into your life and reach out. You can reach out to your son as you feel called to. I would maybe wait till after the next eclipse, after the Saturn Neptune conjunction, and it may even take some more time, maybe his birthday or something like that. And just keep trying, because he may come back to you at some point. So I hope that was helpful.
It was helpful. It's a little more complicated than it is, but
Yeah, it's a
it's
very complicated situation. Yeah.
and it's still in progress. It's not ending. They're kind of smashing me because they couldn't sell our house. It was different,
Yeah.
and so
Well, I'm going to stop you
okay,
there because I want to
okay.
make sure to get to other people. So I hope
Thank,
that was helpful.
thank you.
You're very, very welcome. Thanks for coming. Okay,
Thank
Suzanne?
you.
Okay, so do you want, well, how do you want me to do this? Do you want me to
Just pick
just
someone who said
just
they
pick you?
wanted to
Okay.
get a reading. Use your spidey senses.
So I have the first person was GR is the initials. If you want to get off come off your mic. GR.
Hello, Celeste.
Hi. How are you?
I am doing very well. Thank you for this lovely presentation.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. What is your birth date?
12/28/1990.
And time?
4:03 p.m.
And place?
North Bergen, New Jersey. I'll type it in the chat.
Okay. I was raised in New Jersey.
Oh, really? Which county?
Morristown, New Jersey.
Oh, okay, you're a little that's a little further than me, but not too far.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at this. Wow. See, Suzanne, you knew to pick the right person. Okay. So I have this right, December 28th, 1990, 4:03 p.m.
Yep.
So you have a tremendous Capricorn stellium. So look
Tell
at
me about it,
this.
girl.
Sun, Uranus, Neptune, Venus, Saturn, and the North Node, all in the sign of Capricorn. So you were born around the last Saturn Neptune conjunction. So you're in a time where there's maybe an opportunity for you to make big changes, because you're going to be Saturn and Neptune are going to square the placements in your chart. Saturn over the next 2 years, Neptune stays in a sign 14 years. So you got a while before the Neptune square. But that's something that jumps out to me, right, looking at your chart. And this new moon that's happening tomorrow is on your North Node in Capricorn. Wow. Do you have any specific question, or do you want to make any comment about Chiron and your South Node being connected, or do you want me to just tell you what I see, or what would you like?
Well, Celeste, since you just brought up the Chiron, the second house, if you think that's important, let's look at that.
Yes. So Chiron conjunct the South Node in the second house. To me, the second house is the house of resources, values, as well as our talents and our self-esteem. So with Chiron there is potentially some wound related to like family relations with the sign of Cancer, or there is something related to feeling safe and secure, or having enough resources, where that maybe, do you feel like you have to constantly work, achieve, or what, how does that show up for you?
Yep, girl, you just summarized my life in that phrase.
So Jupiter is in the sign of Cancer right now, and it can expand the wound, but it also can be healing. So are you feeling, have you felt like you have Jupiter being in Cancer, which started last year? There was an intensity around November of last year where Jupiter stationed on your Chiron. Was there any, Chiron also has to do with soulmates and the job we do. So was there anything expanding? Did you have income expansions or
Yes, I
opportunities
did.
at work or love?
Well, in work, I did have a little bit of an income expansion, some extra shifts added by my boss. Um, Love is not going so well. I was about to say love is not going so well. A relationship is already dying, but I've gained so much self-confidence in myself. I'm not afraid of the next steps. I'm actually looking forward to, my single life. I'm gonna get out there, and my focus right now is really friendships.
I love that. I love that. So, when Saturn and Neptune went into Aries last year, they started squaring your ascendant. Saturn, Aries squares Cancer and Capricorn. And, you know, the dream meets reality. And you start to see the differences between the ascendant is the self, the descendant is the other. So you start to see those differences between the two of you. It puts a little pressure on it. Jupiter was there to help you understand the wound, the self-esteem thing, and heal from it and grow from it. And that's amazing. And you're going to be having your Jupiter return. You have
Yes, I'm
Jupiter in
looking
Leo.
forward to that.
Yes, it's going into Leo June 29th. And happens every 12 years. I don't know if there's, like, you could have an expansion in your local community. If you create something, letting your light shine brighter could be a big thing. Leadership, you got so much leadership potential with all of this Capricorn and Leo. So you may make some strides. I think your Mercury and Sagittarius is the biggest gift in your chart. You have probably able to see the bigger picture with a sense of humor as things move on through your life. Yeah.
And Celeste, if I may sneak in one little quick question. I'm concerned about this is going to be the most stereotypically Capricornian thing you'll ever hear out of my mouth. I'm concerned about career.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right now, I'm in a job that just simply pays the bills. It's not my passion. My passion is writing, the arts, and I'm also a tarot reader. And so I am currently at a junction where I'm contemplating maybe going back to school, uh, completing a degree, or following one of my passions, maybe kind of following in your footsteps, starting a tarot reading business. And can I have my cake and eat it? Do I have to choose one or the other? I am split.
I don't think you have to choose one or the other. Jupiter rules your midheaven. I use the traditional rulers. And when it goes, it's going through your second house. And then when it meets your natal Jupiter, it starts this new cycle of expansion. And I think pace yourself. You can use the moon cycles. You can get my guide if you want. I love the idea of you having a side hustle where you start reading, you can just start easily your tarot business and start growing that. Like maybe you just go to local fairs and grow it from word of mouth. You can use social media, whatever. If you want to go back to school, You have Aquarius here, and Pluto is going to be, it's not going to be in your ninth house for a while, but Saturn and Uranus rule your ninth house. Uranus is on your Mars right now. So if you feel motivated to go back to school, go back to school. Let me pull a card for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She's also going to experience her Jupiter return this week. So, I mean, this next year. So she's going to have a 12th house perfection year. So that means a good time to be preparing for a new cycle.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. As I said, fortune favors the brave. Think about what you want to do. Do you want to just keep doing something that pays the bills, or do you want to take a risk and start growing something else? You're a Capricorn. You have the ability to start things. You have the ability to do hard things where you come up with a plan. You take one step in front of the other, and it's going to take time, but you're going to keep pacing. And when you come up against a mountain, you know, you go around it, over it, through it, or swim in the moat around it. So I would think that. And I pulled the Lovers card for you. So the Lovers could be about decisions. And underneath it all is understanding. So what lights you up? What do you want to be in love with what you're doing? And I think that will inform your next steps. So I hope that helps.
It helps tremendously. Thank you so much, Celeste.
You're welcome. So nice to meet you.
Okay, so we have a lot of people on the list, just to let everybody know. But the next person on the list her name is Lauren. If you can come off of mute.
Hi.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Celeste.
Wonderful. What is your birth date?
December 6th, 1959.
And what time?
7:53 p.m.
And where?
Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, great. Okay, Lauren, let's look at your chart here. So, Lauren, Sagittarius Sun conjunct Jupiter. Oh, I love that.
And why do you love it?
I love Sagittarius energy. I'm a Taurus and who can get a little fixed. And Sagittarius has this optimistic outlook, ability to take risks, see the higher picture. And I have a South Node in Virgo. So sometimes I get caught in the minutia. And I love that joyful, exuberant, storytelling, fiery, willing to take chance, throw, and just go with your gut kind of energy of Sagittarius. And especially the storyteller piece of it that can hold court. So would you call yourself optimistic with that Sun, Jupiter? Are you very creative with all this fifth house stuff?
I would say that I am very optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about creative. I'm trying to tap into that at this point in my life, but truly very optimistic. Yes.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's like you're born under a lucky star with Jupiter next to your sun, and that you can see the positive. The cup is half full versus half empty. Like
True.
Capricornian energy, sometimes it would be more like half empty, where Sagittarius half full. Each sign is in rebellion to the one before it. And you've got your moon in Pisces, so your moon squares all this Sagittarius energy. So you're very Jupiterian. Go big or go home. And with this Cancer rising, so Jupiter stationed on your ascendant around November. Were there nice things coming into you, or was it too much of a good thing where you felt like there was so much going on at work, you're overwhelmed? Or how was your life around November in terms of expansion energy?
Well, that's actually pretty true. I actually went to a Kundalini activation, and that kind of expanded the energy that I've been stepping into, in particular, these last 5 years. So it was kind of a big expansion, broadening of truly lots of really amazing energy that I've been stepping into.
I love that. Absolutely. And Saturn, as it goes back into Aries, it's going to climb up to your midheaven. It's going to station on your midheaven in to go direct in December. So just be aware of that in terms of work and stuff that you may have. Do you have a job or career?
I'm retired,
Oh, good.
but
Okay.
I used to work in IT, but I'm retired now.
Oh, okay. Is your mother still living?
No.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see what's going on when Saturn comes up to come up to your midheaven. You just may feel like it'll be opposite your IC. You may
So what?
decide to take on some new challenge or get involved in something, like step up into a little bit of leadership or something like that. So just pay attention to what's going on with you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that could be like a life high. You can also think about what happened 29 years ago when Saturn was up at your midheaven last time. So, yeah, think about
29 years ago.
you just Google the years that Saturn was in Aries last and think about what was
Okay.
going on. There may be something that has a little bit of rhyme with your in your life, and just as Saturn goes over your south node, that's a good time to just be
Okay.
mindful. Like some of your Aries traits, especially shadow energies, may come up, or you may be called to turn your south node inside out and help lead people with
Mhm.
the Aries energy. Maybe that Kundalini that you learned, that
Yes.
activation. I don't know if you're going to
Well,
be
a lot has
shared.
happened in these last 5 years. I left a world of corporate and IT consulting, and my husband of 30 years passed, um, which really put me in a tailspin. I became master certified in Usui Reiki.
Oh,
So I'm studying all of these different modalities, trying to feel what feels right for me and how I want to utilize them in my life going forward. If I'm, and what ultimately I'll do with all of this information, but really doing it kind of for my own. It has been kind of for my own growth and development and deepening of spiritual connection. So it will be interesting to see how that Brandon had put in the chat. It was around 1997-ish, and I'm still not connecting with what that is exactly, but I'll have to think more about that. But in terms of what I've been doing just in these last few years, that feels like a real exciting time that's coming up.
yes. Well, Saturn in the sky is going to square your natal Saturn. So you may decide that you feel called to use your Reiki and every other thing you're using in community in some way. And that could be like with Saturn coming up to your midheaven as well, that you
Okay.
feel like some call to lead in some way to help others with these tools. And maybe it could even be like in a community group where, I don't know, you invite people to come together or something once a month or what have you, or
Okay.
even once, whatever. And you decide to
Okay.
share your gifts with others and maybe, you know, have people pay a small amount of money to join if
Okay.
you don't need the resources, or do it as your gift or something. That's what I'm
Fabulous.
getting.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I'm going to pull you a card, just something to think about.
Okay.
I pulled We Are the World. So that makes me think
Wow.
that something's going to happen this year that makes you feel the need to share your gifts with a group of some sort. That's what I'm getting.
All
That,
right.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
Thank you. Take good care.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, do you have time for another?
Yeah, let me do another one.
Okay, Julene, I have you next. Julene.
Thank you. Celeste, you might have it, but I'm happy to give you the data again.
Okay. Did I spell it right? J-U?
You did. Uh-huh. Yep.
Let me look.
And fantastic presentation, by the way. Yep, that's me. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Fantastic.
Okay,
Okay.
Julene, let me see. Oh, you've got all this Cancer energy.
Mhm.
Yes. Oh, that Sun, Saturn, Mercury. This year, has there been a lot of things coming up about family, security?
Yeah, there's an ongoing thing. I mean, in fact, right now I'm in Sarasota where I'm taking care of my mom where she winters. I'm able to work remotely a few months out of the year. So I am taking care of her. She's broken her foot. And she's talked about maybe, at some point leaving this house to me. So that's a big deal. Because I don't really have a home. I've been renting pretty much all my life. So that's a big deal. For sure. But my question is, the talent trine that's coming up, it will be Uranus will be conjunct my Venus, and it will also everything will be and Pluto's trining my natal Pluto. I was just kind of wondering, like, what is there anything I can do to kind of maximize those energies for the good, so it's not the Titanic? Because I've heard sometimes that even if it's a trine, if it's a negative planet, it can just be like more negative, right?
Yeah. Okay. So Uranus is the unexpected. The Magi astrologers who I love consider it a benefic planet. And your Venus in your chart, you have Venus opposite Neptune, trine Pluto, Venus trine Pluto. That's nice. And so your Venus, as long as, in love, in relationships, or there could be a sibling story. Do you have siblings?
I do, and it's a rather fraught relationship with my siblings. Yeah, we don't get along so well.
Well, the thing I'm seeing, your mom says she's leaving her house to you. You've got your moon in Scorpio in the 8th house, which suggests there could be power struggles over an inheritance. And you got Venus opposite Neptune in the 9th house, your siblings. She stole the house from us. I'm taking her to court. So this is what I'm seeing. You need to get really clear with your mom, with your siblings, with her will. So as ironclad, whatever she's deciding, because there could be a fight over resources.
Okay, the reason she would leave me the house is because she's given them everything, and
they don't care. They want more.
Yes, of course they do.
Yeah, they don't care. That's not logic is not going to make any difference in a Neptunian situation. Neptune and Sagittarius, no. So just be aware that the more you can take care of this now, because this Uranus on stress around resources with Gemini rules the siblings. Astrology is a language, it's literal. Trine Pluto and Libra, a struggle, power struggle over fairness. It might have something to do with somebody's spouse or something like that. I don't know. And Neptune in your first, well, it's your first house, but it has second house implications, because if you used whole sign, this Saturn Neptune would be happening in your second house. But you have Taurus there. There's a resource struggle. So just be aware that that's something that may be coming up before the end of the decade.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now with the Pluto transiting Pluto, trine my Venus and my natal Pluto, does that help?
Trines are supportive, absolutely. Are you in a relationship? Are you married? What's your situation?
I'm divorced for over a decade.
Okay, you might meet someone when Uranus is hovering around your Venus as
Okay.
well, trine Pluto. That's going to be. So just be ready for it, because it's going to bring up, you've got Pluto in the 7th house. So there's always going to be like subconscious things about relationships that come to the surface that can be very transformative, take you like, the relationships in your life probably have always been this, even though you have air signs, feeling like they take you into like deep intimacy, and it can feel like hell or heaven on earth, or like there's big stories of big transformation through your relationships, and doing the work to heal from the divorce, I think would be a great thing to do before you meet the next person who could be really amazing with the way your chart's set up. But watch out for having on rose-colored glasses and get moving too fast into things, is what I would say.
Okay, thank you. With that Neptune opposing
with that Neptune, the illusion, the fog, the mist, you think you've met Mr. Right, and then the drops, the red flags are dropping all over the place. And, oh, isn't that pretty? No, you've learned from the past.
Yeah, indeed.
Now, I pulled the card stress. So I want you to take care of, I think, any kind of stresses related to finances, or like with the mom thing. I would love you to take care of that. Okay.
Okay.
So
maybe try to get everything handed over to me in writing now, so it doesn't wait till after she's dead, kind of deal.
Absolutely. If you wait till after she's dead, you're going to be spending. So you might as well just write lawyers a check to.
Okay.
That's what I'm seeing. It may not show up exactly like that. Your siblings.
Unfortunately, one of them is a lawyer, and yeah.
Exactly. What time it is. So yeah. And let me just read the stress for you.
Celeste, what deck are you using? Somebody wants to know.
Oh, this is the Osho Zen Tarot. I absolutely love this deck. It is incredible. It gives such deep insights into things. I'll put a link to it if people want it in the thing I send out. It's just incredible. Okay. So the stress is a fire card. Okay, let me just read this. The quality of stress represented in this card visits all of us at times, but perfectionists are particularly vulnerable to it. We create ourselves with the idea that without us, nothing will happen, especially in the way we want it to. Well, what makes you think you're so special? Do you think the sun won't rise in the morning unless you personally set the alarm? Go for a walk. Buy some flowers and fix yourself a spaghetti dinner. Anything unimportant will do. Just put yourself out of that monkey's reach. So the card looks like it's like someone's like dancing on a balloon and a monkey's holding a pin. It's like pop the balloon. And you're Pisces rising with Jupiter on your ascendant. And I wonder if sometimes you feel like you have to do everything for other people or constantly be self-sacrificing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so much. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Pisces, the martyr. So take care of yourself.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Celeste. This has been amazing.
You're very welcome. Well, thank you everyone for coming. I will get you the recording by tomorrow. If you like, sign up for the class, and then I'll be doing these readings for people in the class during the live sessions, February 1st and February 8th. Yeah, and you can just come book a reading. I'm here. I'm on Instagram and YouTube and all the things. So yeah, thank you so much. And I hope this was helpful to you. And thank you, Suzanne. I really
you.
appreciate all your help.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, ladies.
Take care. Sorry I couldn't get to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you on Insta.
Sounds great. Have a great day.
Have a good day. Thanks, Suzanne.
Happy
you.
new moon tomorrow.
Happy new moon.
Thank you.
Thank you.